Here in the UAE, two of the biggest mortgage lenders are being restructured by the federal government at a cost of 3 billion dirhams. That process is now expected to be completed by the first quarter of 2010. That company, Tamweel, is the second biggest lender in the UAE, and their chairman, Sheikh Khaled Bin Zayed Al-Nehayan, told me that the rate of defaults here is slowing.
The market really have started to recover in the real estate market. The lowest prices we have seen was last March, and since then prices of real estate assets in the UAE and in particular in Dubai have really started to rise, with also an increase in transaction numbers, and that made us more comfortable about the way how we tackled our portfolio.
What's driving that? You say demand's picking up again. Where is that buying coming from? Because by all accounts, there's tremendous capacity out there.
Well, for sure there is that capacity, but during this crisis, many of the developers stopped or postponed many of the projects that was either planned or just started, which really have shrunk the capacity and the supply that was supposed to be coming to the market. That's number one. Number two, prices have dropped to a point where it became more interesting. In some areas, it became almost equivalent to the replacement cost, and people here are very much familiar with the construction cost, with the cost of land and all of that, so it became back valuable, or they felt that there is value now at these prices.
The ability to get the financing to make that purchase is quite tough. How do you loosen that up?
As you know, Tamweel and Amlak, which is the biggest player, are still not lending in the market because they are going through their restructure process. I think as more and more institutions become more comfortable, you will see that there is enough liquidity available for those buyers, and we might see a drop, especially on the rate, because these rates are slightly high at this point in time.
In the restructuring, you would take on the form of an Islamic bank.
Yes.
So not a traditional mortgage lender. You would be reconfigured into a banking institution?
Yes, with the focus on real estate, because the market needs a real estate institution, a mortgage company, but with the ability to get sources, and that's why the license would be a normal commercial bank with focus on real estate.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of media attention, as you know, to that question of people just leaving the country, leaving their cars behind, leaving their homes behind here. How much truth is there to that?
I can see that, yes, there have been people who have left the country, but today the population of the middle class, which is our concern, is not shrinking. On the contrary, it's expanding, because there continue to be opportunities, and that's what is attracting people to come here. Everybody was saying that by September of 2009, you will see a drop of 17% in Dubai and U.A.E. population. We did the exercise in May. We looked at the numbers of the students and the people who are registering and pre-registering, and we have done another exercise on that, and we saw, on the contrary, the numbers have increased by about, on our sample, of about 3%.
Your deputy CEO is before the court. There were headlines just today about that, being accused of fraud in some form. I mean, you may not be able to comment specifically on his legal issues, but certainly there are questions about to what degree there was misappropriation of funds or fraud involved in the bubble and then the burst.
I can't comment. It's individual. We need to see, the case is in front of the courts, we need to see the results, but in most of the cases it is individual issues. It's not a widespread, but because of the boom, there was a few cases of corruption, and fortunately it has been discovered, and the government is trying to eradicate and chasing every single possible corruption case that is there, because the reputation of Dubai and the reputation of the U.A.E. is something that we will never allow to be hit by something of this nature.
That was the head of Tamweel, the mortgage lender here in the UAE.